mainstream, part of mainstream technology, and I think we're moving slowly towards that with whiteboards and being able to throw things like Clicker and that up on the board and make it far more not the child sitting over there by themselves. But until our department actually recognises the validity of inclusive technology or assistive technology, whatever you want to call it, in our mainstream classrooms, we're going to be battling against that tokenism all the time.
I find too that in an education setting, the people in charge of the technology and IT people, they are not overall with technology or anything like that. So I come along and I say I want to buy this software and they look at me blankly because they've never used it.
Kieran eating again.
That's right, I eat multiple times a day. Go figure.
Things as we can from between their life and the book. And you could just see like the little wheels turning in his head, right? When she said the dirt has a smell, you know, he's like, boom, I know. Because he sits outside in the driveway and plays in the dirt. So it made sense to him. And she never could have anticipated that he was going to say something about dirt, right? She never could have known that and put it on a communication device, right? But she followed his lead and had him use the open-ended message, and she was able to get to that point. So what's kind of cool about this is kids can learn how to communicate and use their AAC devices during shared reading. So that means you can work on all your communication goals then, right? So just here's some sample reading goals, communication goals you can do during shared reading. So like during shared reading, a student will use a communication system to make 4 more requests or protests with, you know, level of prompt on 3 out of 5 days. Or during shared reading, student will use their communication system to ask a question. Right? So you can totally work on communication.
Kind of modified that, and what she did was to interview a number of different people on how many servings they had yesterday of fruits, of vegetables, etc., etc. So now she took all this data and worked with a friend to chart it and use that. But she had to ask many, many, many different things. She got really good at the language of doing that. She also got good at the social interaction of asking the same question in different ways and to many different people, or asking a slightly different question. So in that social interaction, we see that the parts of a conversation are in microcosm. We have the attention getter. Excuse me. We have the starter. I have a question. We have the topic maintenance. With the next starter, you know, how many servings of fruit did you have yesterday? Wow, that's so helpful, thanks. That's just that little topic maintenance, and then my closing, oh man, I gotta go, see you later. Those types of things. And it might...
Program to do. That means that book you've worked for hours on because you tend to. Initially you start off making really simple books. The longer you play with the program, the more complex and more beautiful books become. At least this way you get to recycle it and lots of people get to use it. Okay, so we'll move on. We have a Braille copy. We actually work quite closely in conjunction with in student support, we work quite closely with the vision teachers. I used to be a vision teacher, so tactiles and Braille are always on the menu, large print. The dots. The first lot of interactive activities we did with the students were really entry-level ones, things to engage them, to build up their confidence, and just to have a bit of a play. Here we see some young ladies just doing some colouring in. We also used it to share PowerPoints, Flickr 5 books.
For every task, I could probably make a decision tree, but my goodness, it wouldn't be easy. And how many of us have one task to do in a class?
Would it be better in that case to use a program like Rationale?
You stole my thunder. And the awful thing is, I love Rationale. It's an Australian program. And by the way, NovaMind is another Australian mind mapping tool. They crashed on my hard drive the week before I came, and I'd specially set it up. But the answer is, Rationale would be very good for doing your essay planning. Because at every stage it would ask you why, what are you doing this for, you know, what's the comparison, can I make a decision? But it is very much an essay planning tool as opposed to a project management tool in many ways. I hope you'd agree with that, Jen. I think it's
I think it's great for politics, say
Yes.
religion, anything where
If
you
you're
have
going
to
to
make those
debate.
decisions. But it gives that great, Socrates gives that great feedback as well.
Absolutely.
So some students.
Movements that you're going to need on the touch. So that pincer movement, when you're reading an e-book, you can make the text bigger by doing that. There's lots of applications where you can shrink and grow things using that pinching movement. And the flicking is what you use to move between home screens or photos. Some of the e-book readers you have to flick to change pages, some of them you just tap. Depends which e-book reader you're using. What I'd like you to find is the app called dictionary.com.au. And this is on mine it's actually called Mini. I'll show you the icon you're looking for. It's that icon that you're looking for. So this is a free version of the Macquarie University. It's the basic school version. So there's lots and lots of dictionaries on iTunes again, but there's not so many Australian ones. There's an Oxford Australian Dictionary that's about $35. And then there's about 6 editions of the Macquarie, starting with this free one and going through to...
As I don't want to risk corruption, my experience with Facebook and the need to be careful about giving out too much personal information.
Thanks, Steve. And again, that was a really timely thing because in our school we were drafting a social network policy because we had a situation arise where all of a sudden these students wanted to communicate with teachers and carers at school, and where at a certain age level that might be appropriate, but it could equally be something that, you know, it's not appropriate, and about boundaries, professional boundaries, and just not realising, as we know in Victoria, what happened to a Twitter person inadvertently having something posted that other people could have access to. You know, generally, it's not appropriate. So having a teacher like me go, no, we've come up with the school policy, and having somebody like Nick